Hello. Um, First of all, it's me. I'm back again, Brian FP. I know I've been gone for a while, but I feel like posting something, so I'm doing it. I'd like to first give a shout out to all my new subscribers since the last time I posted a video. Thank you for joining us. Um, I don't have a plan, but I'd just like to launch into this. The theme for this video is going to be letting go, and hopefully I can touch on some things that have been on my mind lately in relation to that topic. So if you can hear what's going on behind me a ways, that's the UW marching band practicing. Hopefully you can hear me over it. I assume you can. Letting go. For me, that's got a lot to do with the studies that I've done relating to, the Eastern sort of religions, not really religions, but belief systems like Buddhism. I've looked into that a lot. Not quite a while ago, I was reading a bit on Taoism. It's all sort of linked together for me in a sort of all-encapsulating worldview. For me as an INFP, it has helped tremendously. I find myself striving for peace with having a mind that seems not prone to it or not naturally predisposed for it. It takes work, it takes effort, thought, conscious thought, but it's achievable step by step, I think. What do I mean by letting go? I mean letting go of thoughts, honestly, emotions, allowing yourself to accept the fact that these emotions, these thoughts that you have, as much as you can convince yourself in the moment that they are eternal and the only truth in the world, you have to let go of that thought, emotionally, psychologically within yourself. Let go of that idea because it's just not true. I've learned again and again that I can be so certain of the negativity of everything one day or 1 hour, and then the next hour something happens, and I feel just as certain about the positivity and everything. And when I'm in those negative moments, it's very easy to convince myself that every positive thought that I've had up until this point has really been false, and I've been fooling myself. But you know what? There's no more truth to negativity than there is to positivity. They're all one. It's all part of existence. I guess, good and evil, good and bad, they're subjective things. No one can say, in my opinion, no one can say that one thing is inherently good or inherently evil, because it all depends on perspective. And so you have to decide on your own perspective, and you have to accept the fact that you are not stuck in one perspective for your whole life. You've even up until this point you've gone through many changes, and you have to let go of the thought that your present is the only thing that exists. There will be a future, and you will change, and things will change around you as well. You have to, I find I have to let go of a lot of anchors, things that feel like anchors inside of me, that anchor me to specific thought patterns and tendencies to stew in my own problems. a great tool that I've found that helps a lot for that is meditation. I highly suggest it to all INFPs. Honestly, anybody who has SI in their function stack. I haven't talked to very many SE users who really, grasp it in quite the same way. But I'm sure it's possible. And but for us SI users, it's very important to, rather than going out and doing things and experiencing things and being in contact with the real world, we ground ourselves within ourselves. I find so much that closing my eyes and shutting myself off from the external world has an almost magical immediate effect of calming so many of my thoughts. It doesn't necessarily, it's not as simple as that to put an end to negativity. You have to consciously put effort into it. But the first step is, for me, just closing my eyes and taking a moment to shut off those external stimuli. And there's just an inner peace I find just by being only with myself and nothing else. And meditation specifically, I'm not saying like, oh, just close your eyes when it gets bad. Sit down and use the meditative position, because that way it really gets you into the mindset, and you can train yourself into that idea. And then you sit down and you're in a calm place. I use earplugs often because my roommates are hardly ever quiet, but you just need to get into a quiet place, a private place where you won't be disturbed, and you sit and you close your eyes and begin the practice of letting go of all thoughts that come to your head. You don't have to try to force them out, because that's not natural. It's not healthy either. But calmly let yourself let go of the thoughts that come to your head and feel like they're so important that you shouldn't let them go. But in truth, nothing is that important. No thought is that important, because life is just existence. You just have to exist. And if you are struggling to find peace, you can find so much peace in nothingness. I envision it, and I believe I read this in a bit of Taoist writing, and it's also connected to the Japanese tea ceremony, that you envision your mind and your life as a series of like cobblestone steps along a path toward, it doesn't even matter what it's leading to, it's just a path. And you envision, picture your thoughts as a series of falling leaves that fall on and clutter that path, and it fills your mind, your life, with clutter. And peace comes by clearing that clutter away. So when I'm meditating, I often envision a path of stone steps and when I find thoughts intruding on my peace, I envision that as leaves falling on my path, and I simply, rather than getting upset about it, I calmly sweep the leaves away and try my best to just focus on my breathing. And slowly I find myself letting go of these negative thoughts that come in, and you can also take that time to try and recognize what spurred on those negative thoughts, what caused them, and you contemplate it, and then you realize how it came, and then you let it go. And by doing this during meditation, you can train yourself to do this outside of it as well during everyday life. It leads to much easier paths towards peace of mind in day-to-day life, and I find it's very useful. Um, so yeah, meditation, letting go of the thoughts that seem too intrusive, too important, is actually a lot easier than it seems. And the more you practice, the more you will have it proven to you that it's not necessary to hang on to these negative thoughts. Oftentimes, they're imaginations anyways. Oftentimes, things are really not as bad as they seem. Um, and if you just let time pass and let your emotions pass through you, you'll find yourself not clinging on to those things quite as strongly, and pretty soon things will start working around you in a more positive manner, simply because you're not clinging on to negative emotions. I think we bring negativity to us by our certainty in its truthfulness, when really oftentimes it's only a half truth, and it's not really worth hanging on to that. And it makes me wonder, why do I cling on to negative emotions so much more than I do my positive ones? I'm not sure. I'm working towards switching that balance, and it seems like a good thing. Another thing in terms of letting go is, we as INFPs are known for our need for deep connection with us, a lonesome few, the worthy, as we put it, I guess. And, while I can't say that's not true, I think, many of us can take it to an extreme that winds up being very unhealthy. And it's important to let go to a certain extent to those close relationships, those close friendships that you build, because it can be easy for INFPs. I think specifically Enneagram 4 INFPs, although I'm not terribly schooled in Enneagram to speak, too authoritatively on it, but it's easy for us to attach ourselves to specific people as if they are our saving grace, our God sent everything, and everything that's worth anything in the world resides in this one person. And if we give up that idea, that then we somehow are ruining the specialness, the magic of that relationship, if we can't see that person on such a high pedestal for what they mean for us. And I think, it can bring great levity and very positive emotions in the good times to feel that way. But in the long run, it can often lead to very unrealistic expectations of those people, leading to us, to think, eventually, especially if you put somebody on such high a pedestal and then they don't fulfill your expectations, it can turn into something very destructive when we think, this one person who I thought was everything in the world, or these few people who I thought were everything in the world, aren't what I thought they were, and thus everybody in the whole world, is not ideal. And how can I live in a world where I can't find something that's ideal? But you know what? That's really unrealistic. It's so much healthier, I find, to let go to a degree of those thoughts and allow the people closest to me to live their own lives. It's something I still work on. Obviously, I'm a work in progress and always will be. But it's best to allow yourself to let go to an extent of those connections, and because that frees you up to make more connections with more people. And I know that might be scary to some INFPs. What? Meet new people? Are you kidding me? But if you really let go of expectations in all aspects, let go of the expectation of, you need this one person to be perfect, if you're getting to know them. let go of that too. Let go of these expectations you have of people, because it will in turn allow you to let go of the high expectations you set for yourself. Um, and you'll be able to form connections with many more people. And if you can, allow someone to be the flawed, imperfect person that they are, you can actually become closer to loving them for who they really are, rather than some ideal that you impose upon them. And it also, in turn, allows you to come to love yourself for the flawed, imperfect person you are. And I think that is the ultimate goal and is what's most important. So yeah, I hope those of you who watch this get something from that, and try to work on letting go of expectations, letting go of your thoughts, letting go of just everything that weighs you down. If only for a short time, you'll get better at it, and I think you'll like what starts to happen more and more as you do it. So yeah, everyone meditate now. Take the next 10 minutes to meditate and think about stuff. You don't have to, but I'm just saying. All right, I'm gonna get home because it's starting to get dark pretty quick here. Thanks for watching.